Hello and thank you once again for listening to Willow Talk, and welcome to new listeners. Adam Peacock alongside Alyssa Healy here in the studio in Australia. Heels, how are you?
Hi, good.
And it's good to catch up with our old mate, Brad Haddin, who's somewhere in India at the IPL. Hads, the crew's back together again. How are you, mate? Where are you?
Mate, how are we all? Heels, though. I'm in Jaipur. It's beautiful 43 degrees outside. We're just getting ready for a training day. We've got a big game in a couple of days against Delhi, which we can't wait for.
Yeah, and as we sit here right now, we've got Delhi-Mumbai happening tonight. We're recording on a Wednesday afternoon. You'll know the result of this as you listen to this right now. So it's getting to the pointy end at the IPL. And pointy end back here as well, Hads. We had Alex Carey on the show earlier this week, and gee, he was impressive. I think you're okay, and Heels is okay, obviously, but I could be in trouble after stuffing up his stats, and he could be hosting this before too long, old Kez.
Oh, mate, all wicket keepers, as you know, you've worked with them for long enough, are switched on. But, yeah, he's been training hard, but all under what I understand, he's getting ready for that Test Championship. But, yeah, they've got they leave soon. So, yeah, Carey's right in the middle of everything.
I think keeping it real is about to get real.
Okay, a little spin-off.
Well, I think the listeners all know that we have a WhatsApp group, and it's not even called Willow Talk. It's called Keeping It Real.
Yeah.
You're about to get punted.
Yeah, I'm about to go unless I pick up some gloves and learn how to talk a lot.
And our producer Joel can't squat at the moment with a bad knee, so he might get removed as well. So we'll just have 3 keepers in there.
Exactly. You produce it yourselves. Stuff yous. We want to hear...
Excuse me, sir. Wait 2 seconds.
Oh,
sorry.
Hads is getting some...
Someone's just decided to come and... He's just decided to come and do the vacuuming right under my table. I'm the only one in a 40 by 40 metre area, and he's just come under my toe. Anyway, all sorted.
I think everyone's going to appreciate the authenticity of this.
He wants the picture.
Yep.
He wants a picture, doesn't he, Had? So give him his picture after he's done. So, yeah, there you go.
Can you hear him?
Yeah. Oh, a little bit. That's all right. It's part of the ambience. It makes it more real. On this episode today, we want to hear Hads' thoughts on the World Test Championship 11 for Australia, given that the squad is out. We haven't caught up with him since the squad has been announced. A bit about the IPL. Obviously, Hads knows everything that's going on over there. And on the preparations for the World Test Championship, we'll dive into Steve Smith and his preparation methods for that big game at Lords, which is just around the corner. Now, make sure you follow us on social media. Just search Willow Talk Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. And if you want to see our faces and watch the full-length clips, head to Listener Sport on YouTube. That's where to listen and watch the show all in one. Now, Lee got in contact, guys, and he said, I love a round of golf, but if I start with a couple of shockers in the first few holes, how do I reset mentally and get back on track? The same goes for cricket, and there is a cricket question tied in with this. After a few drop catches or a string of low scores, what is the mental approach to turn it around? Heels, to you first. Have you got any advice?
Well, I mean, the beauty of golf in that regard is there's always another opportunity. So you step up to the next ball, you got to be like a goldfish and just forget what happened a minute ago. But I guess the same with cricket. You got to quickly review what you've done wrong, get over it and move on, especially when it comes to fielding. You can't do much about nicking off and sitting down for the rest of the day, but that's the only way you can do it. So, Lee, just suck it up, move on.
And Hads, have you got any advice along those lines and helping someone out of a slump?
Lee, it's not good news, I can tell you that. There are days when that happens where you feel like you're in quicksand, and this is the honest reality of it. And you don't want the ball to come to you. If you've dropped a couple of catches, the last thing you want to do sometimes is the ball to come to you. But that's the reason you do all your training. You talk about repetition, muscle memory and everything like that. That's for those sort of days when you've dropped the catch, you've got to put it behind you and then just go back. And what I did is just concentrate on my basics, because the one thing that happened when you drop a catch, I used to find, I don't know with you, Heels, my feet would stop working. I wouldn't want the ball to come to me, and I got cautious. But you got to be mentally strong to put it behind you.
That's sound advice for the old professional cricketer, Brad, but I'm not sure Lee's training 6 days a week for his round of Saturday afternoon cricket. So I'm sure he'll be practicing hard, but I think just you got to cop it, move on, and laugh with your mates over a beer at the pub afterwards, I reckon.
Enjoy the quicksand. It gets worse then.
Shannon's got a question as well, just quickly, Heels. Considering the World Test Championship final is on the horizon, I have a question for Heels. What were you writing in the notebook during the last final when Mitch was batting? Was she taking notes about his form like we suspected? That's a long memory.
I'd forgotten about that, to be honest, and I just said before I don't remember what I was doing, but all I can say is I'm pretty sure we had an Ashes series straight after that, so I was probably taking notes on some English batters about how we were going to get them out. That's the boring answer. But in all honesty, I was probably doing a Sudoku.
Yeah, exactly. In the world, you were doing the notes on the English.
I am nipping over to Lords, so I'll let you know what I'm writing down this time.
Do you have a coaching black book that you have on the sidelines with you, Hads, or you leave that to other people in the coaching staff there at Punjab?
No, you do. You have your notebook where you jot things down leading into the game mostly. During the game now, I tend not to use as much. I've got the analyst right next to me. If there's something I see, I just tell him to mark that ball, and I'll come back and watch it again later. I normally watch the game over again anyway. So, yeah, I don't usually use my book as much now.
Hads has a whiteboard.
Yeah.
And he holds it up. It says play a shot.
Well, it was interesting last game, Heels. Rajasthan got off to an absolute flyer, and I wasn't playing also. The captain was ruled out halfway through the game. So we actually ran the boundary in the last 10 overs. We just thought we're lacking a bit of intensity in what we're doing outside the ring. So we quickly got around to all the players and told them to up the intensity of what they were trying to do to make life uncomfortable for the batters. So, it doesn't always have to be the little black book. We actually ran the boundary, put the bibs on and got the fielders to get involved in the game a bit.
Yeah, just started swearing profusely at your players, which is fair enough. You got them home, Hads. You defended that big total.
Never have, Adam. I've never been that coach.
Yeah, right.
Never.
Anyway, World Test Championship. Move on to that right now. And we've got the squad. Hads, you would have noticed the squad. So the questions are, the bowling lineup looks pretty settled. Okay, Boland, Hazelwood, that might be the question. But the big quandary is, of course, like we've been talking about for the last couple of months, who opens and what does that order look like? Which way are you going, given we now know the squad?
Yeah, I had a look at Heels' squad the other day, and I tend to agree with that. I think Cameron Green will come back into the squad. And what that looks like, I think you'll see him at either one or three, and then Marnus will be at the other one. So that's the way I think they'll go. I think they'll use the players that they've used over this cycle. I think the Test team could look a lot different in the West Indies, but for the Test Championships, I think Cameron Green will come straight back in. Hazelwood plays. I think his form over here has been outstanding, and if his shoulder's okay, he goes straight back in with the other two fast bowlers.
What's the soft spot that the South Africans might be looking at if we go with that 11 in those conditions at Lords? Hads, to you first.
I think the one thing the South Africans will look at is the Duke's ball. I think if they can get that to swing around up top and try to put a bit of pressure on that top order of Australia, that's where I think they can make some inroads. But they've got to get that Duke's ball to work for them. They've got a good bowling attack in Jansen, Rabada. Those guys will enjoy those conditions in the UK. So I just think they have to find a way to make Australia get no more than 250. If not, I think Australia will dominate the Test.
So Mitch was up in Brisbane earlier this week, and I can only presume they're using the ball in the nets, what they'll use over there. Is there differences getting used to it and how you can utilise it?
Yeah, I think for starters, it feels different in your hand. Like, it's a lot smaller, the seam's more pronounced. So sometimes for the bowlers, it feels a little bit more comfortable, depending probably on how big your hands are and what you do with the ball. But it does react differently, and especially here in Australia, it does different things on our wickets compared to what it does over on the English wickets as well. But depending on what the conditions are like at Lords, it's been a little bit drier over there than what potentially it has been early in the summer. So, it'll be interesting to see how it reacts. But they're getting their prep in, and hopefully they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, a few of those county games last week, there was 500 first innings all over the shop, so that the wickets look pretty good at the moment for batting. Hads, what about your man Marco Jansen, Mr. 8'20" from South Africa? Has he been giving much lip in the Punjab camp to you Aussies about what's going to happen in this World Test Championship final?
No, he knows better than that, Adam. No, he's. I tell you what, in the right conditions, and I think I said it before. At some stage in the next couple of years, I think he'll be ranked number 1 Test bowler in the world. He's just starting to understand how good he can be. For a man so big, he's a great athlete. He's got good hands. He moves well in the field, but where that ball comes out of his hand, he's very skillful. So there's been no banter yet. We're business as usual here. But just going back to that Test champion, just having to think about it, it'll be interesting with the forecast for that Test match. If it is overcast and we know Lords, do you think there's a world here where Lino doesn't play that one-off game, Heels?
Normally, I would say yes, because naturally, I think teams are going to shape up like with 4 quicks over in England. But he's been so good. Even when we think that we're going to play 4 quicks, they still pick Nathan. He still does a role and plays a role in the side. So I kind of like as much a part of me that would go, yes, there is an opportunity for that. I don't think it will happen.
Nathan's just looking forward to walking up the stairs properly after what happened last time at Lord's to him, and he almost had to get the elevator to get back to the sheds. But
I still don't know what he was thinking. He's done a calf. He still wants to bat for Australia. Why are you sitting in the change room?
Yeah, go down on the boundary.
Yeah, like get your mates to carry you down the stairs, sit on the boundary, and if you have to go out and bat, you go out and bat. But there was a lot of commotion.
Yeah, exactly. Cam, good to see Cam Green in the runs again. Hads, he started with a blaze. He had a few missed opportunities, which can happen in county. You come in late in the day, for instance, on a green top, and it can be difficult with the ball moving a foot through the air. But you really ended with a bang with a century and a half century against Kent. So that's great signs.
Yeah, it's been great signs. He started off well. He's got a couple of hundreds against Kent. But the one thing I like most is in the second innings, he was there to win the game. You can go over to county cricket and get your volume up and hit some balls and get ready, but it's also getting those competitive juices going again for Cameron Green. And what he did there for Gloucester, he's seen them home against Kenny. He got them a win, and that to me is the most important thing out of his whole time there. Yes, he'll face some balls and he'll do well, but it's getting those competitive juices back and starting to win games again, which I was most impressed about.
Hey, just with the South Africans over there, like we've seen a bit of player movement, obviously, with the pause and then the pushing back, and it's past the original date, so international cricket kicks in. What's the thought with the South Africans that are over there and involved if it goes past a certain date and they've got a warm-up test against Zimbabwe to take into account? Is there any word?
Yeah, there is. They've got a date where they've all got to leave. So I think that the South Africans, if they go through to the final, won't be here. They've all got a date that they have to be in the UK and ready for that game. That might change with Mumbai if they go further in the tournament and Rickleton has to leave. Maybe Mumbai can pull some strings and they stay a little bit longer. But at this stage, they've got a finish line where they'll miss the back end of the finals.
It's a hard one for everyone involved. Yeah. It's just throwing it all up in the air, unfortunately.
Well, I think you know what the players want to do. The players want to get to the UK and prepare for that Test Championship final because it seems like it's quite very important to that group of people, just chatting to a few of them and seeing the buzz around it. But then you can't really deny, a franchise that's coming hard at you that we want you for the finals. So how do you balance that? I'm not 100% certain. And there's always money involved as well, which is, it is our job and it's what you're being paid to do. So that comes into play a little bit. But I just hope that they find a balance and it works out for the player to the best way it can. And even if it is someone like Ryan Rickleton hitting with an SG ball over there just to, or hopefully a Dukes ball, but an SG ball to try and prepare in some way for the final as well, that can prepare those players for that big contest.
Because pretty quickly Mitch prioritised from for instance, the backstory that you know very well, Mitch prioritised, he went, well, no, it's World Test Championship final. They don't come around every 5 minutes. I want to prep properly for this.
Yeah, and it did become a little bit awkward because a lot of the players, their NOCs were only up until about the 24th of May. So then all of a sudden you need to ask for an extension as well, and what the different organisations were going to allow, not allow. And then, like Hads just said, if you make the final, it's June 3rd. And then you're showing up at Lords to play day one on June 11. And that's not a huge lead into some red ball cricket with a ball you haven't used for a little while. So, yeah, it's going to be a difficult balance, but hopefully the players get what they want out of it also.
Yeah. Hads mentioned earlier in the week about Marnus. He went over to Glamorgan. He's home away from home, and he missed out in both. I don't know if you saw Harry Conway just going berserk when he got him out. He nicked off to Harry, and I don't know, Harry was impersonating an 85-year-old umpire when he got him out for some unknown reason, but Harry's Harry. Marnus, are you concerned in any way about he won't have that rhythm or because the way he works in the nets, he'll be fine?
No, I am concerned. I think it's for some time now. We haven't quite seen the best of Marnus, and I think it's a really big period of the game for him. He's gone over to Glamorgan. He feels comfortable there. He's got some good coaches, I think, in Maynard over there that he works close with. So I've seen the dismissal to Harry Conway. And, yeah, Harry was impersonating. I think Marnus might be more upset is the way he got out. He looked like he squared him up again, Marnus, and that trend where his back hip's coming through and he's just sort of pushing the ball and he's been caught in slips. Looks like it's continued. So it's an important couple of weeks for him to find some rhythm in his game. It'll be interesting to see where they use him, whether Green goes to open or Marnus goes up the top. There's been a little bit of talk about that, but he'll want some runs just for his own peace of mind leading into the World Test Championship.
In a way, those dismissals, whilst concerning, might actually be a sort of a kick up the bum for him at the same time. To go, he's probably done a lot of work on that in the prep time leading into going over to Glamorgan and the Test Championship final, but you never really know what's going to happen until you step onto the field. So the fact that that's happened again might be a good opportunity for him to go, right, I need to sort this. Like, I genuinely need to discover how to work my way around this little tough period and get the job done. So hopefully it's a good thing the next week.
Before we move on to a bit of IPL chat, just a few other things on Test cricket, given we're talking about the World Test Championship, to England, who are looking forward to welcoming India for a massive series over there this English summer. Ben Stokes has given up booze for a year to get himself right for these big series coming up. What would you give up to play Test cricket for Australia?
You'd give up whatever you needed to get that opportunity to pull on the baggy green. I think it's a really mature move from Ben Stokes, actually. He's had a lot of injury concerns with his hamstrings over the last 18 months. He's had two pretty significant injuries there. So he's just given himself the best opportunity to get through a period of cricket that'll define his captaincy. I think he's got 5 tests against India, obviously, then he comes out for the Ashes. So he's just trying to give himself as good as opportunity as he can to be fit. It's not uncommon for players, once they get older, to start to look at different ways to change their habits and keep themselves fresh for the longer form of games. So, yeah, it might be boring after a win, though.
He'll be right. He'll have adrenaline, happiness, endorphins.
My body suggests I've already given up quite a lot to play Test cricket for Australia, so I don't need to give up anymore.
Well, okay, Hads, if you were offered the chance for some unknown bloody reason, whatever happened to Alex Carey and Josh Inglis, and we got an emergency and said, Hads, play one more test for Australia, but you had to give up one of the following: being on Willow Talk, watching your beloved Canberra Raiders, or drinking Corona, which one would you give up first?
Drinking Corona, easy. Willow Talk. Drinking Corona. I was definitely not giving up watching the Raiders because I'm already booked my ticket for the grand final date.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
where you'll take on the Bulldogs and we'll get over you.
Oh,
again.
that I'm coming to watch with you guys if that happens. Absolutely. I'm first there. Couldn't give a stuff who wins. I just want to see one of you just blow up about not winning and the other one winning. Had's another one about Test cricket. Virat Kohli, since we last caught up, he's announced his formal retirement from Test cricket. Just wondering what the reaction has been like over there, or because everyone's in IPL mode, it kind of skipped over.
Yeah, everyone heard. We sort of heard about it about 6 weeks ago. That there was some rumours that he wasn't going to play Test cricket, and to me, it's a pretty sad day actually. If you look at a generational player like Virat Kohli, he's been great for the game. The outcry went once he gave it away over here. You have to be on the ground to understand the impact he has on everyone. And there was a period, 2017 to 19, where he was as big as anyone in the game. He made Test cricket trendy again over here in India. He'll be sorely missed. Thought he might have had one last crack in him against England, but what he's done for the game, not only here for in India, but worldwide, he's a true superstar of the game. He's been a great personality, and he'll be sorely missed. He was one player that brought bums on seats for Test match cricket and made it trendy again.
And he's still got it over there in the IPL at the moment?
Yeah, he has. They're flying Bangalore. They've got a really good list, actually. They've picked some really good power hitters and sprinkled his class into that batting lineup. So they've done a really good job with their recruitment. So they're right up there. They're fighting with us and GT to get that 1 and 2 spot to have 2 cracks in the finals. So, they're going along really nicely.
So to the IPL and a couple of results to update you on. I'm sure Mitch is really disappointed he missed out on playing for Delhi against Gujarat because Delhi set Gujarat 200 to win. They got it without losing a wicket. They just went berserk at the top of the order there. So, that was an incredible game. And a few others Hads that have happened since the restart. What's struck you about the IPL since they've got going again?
Oh, it's business as usual. All the players are starting to filter back in. Now you got the majority of the players there, but the big game for everyone is the one coming up between Delhi and Mumbai. That'll decide the last spot of the final. A few teams have been knocked out over the last couple of days with LSG, KKR. They're out now. So this game with Mumbai and Delhi will decide the final spot. So that's we'll be all glued to that. Then it's about where you finish. You'd love to give yourself 2 opportunities in the finals, finishing 1 and 2. So we've got 2 games left against Mumbai and Delhi as well. So if we can get the results for after there, a bit of luck, we can get a 1-2 finish. But all eyes are on the Mumbai-Delhi game, and then it's about working what position you finish in the top 4.
Is there any advantage? I haven't seen any news or announcements, but is there any advantage finishing at the top? Obviously, the 2 cracks, but will you get home ground advantage for the final series, or are those final series set in different places?
Well, it's just been changed. It looked like it was going to be the elimination final and the qualifying final in Bangalore, but there's been a lot of weather around there, so they've actually moved to our home ground. So we go back to Chandigarh for the eliminator and things. So is that an advantage to us? Our record's been great on the road, not so good at home. So we would have liked Bangalore actually, but we'll take our home.
Yeah, but Bangalore wouldn't have liked Bangalore. They want to go on the road as well, so it's like a flip of the coin. All right, who are we pleasing the most?
It is, and the finals that at GT's home ground, which they've played outstanding there over this season. But that just came out yesterday where the finals will be.
It's because the monsoons kicked in, yeah?
Yeah, it has. Bangalore, they didn't look like getting any cricket there, and the forecast over the next week just looks horrible. And with where the tournament's at and what everyone's done to try to get it back up and going, it just made sense to make another change and change venues.
How's your squad, Hads? And obviously you've got some great Indian talent meshed with your internationals and a few of the Aussie boys. You've got a new face in Mitch Owen there, missed out the other night. But talk us through his integration and overall, is there a sense that you can actually do something pretty big here?
We've got actually a couple of new faces. We've got Cole Jemison as well, who's just arrived. So we've finally replaced Lockie Ferguson. So he's come into the squad. He arrived yesterday. Marcus Stoinis, Hardy, and Inglis, they also arrived yesterday. So we've got a full quota. Our squad's at the moment is as good as it's been for some time. We'll work through now the availability of all those players with Test Championships coming up, where they'll fit into the things. But we've got everyone back on deck.
That's handy. That's very handy. I mean, just on that, when you go and get a replacement, do you have to go and ask permission of the owners, or are you guys left to your own devices and that they trust you to do things? Because you see in other sports, you have to go to the board, or you have to go to the sporting director, or whatever it is to bring in talent that you've got available to you on your list. But whether or not you actually go through with that is another question. How's it done over there?
Yeah, I think the process is very similar to any sport. We sit down as a coaching group and identify what we'll need going forward in these last few games. It's been a unique situation. You pick your obviously squad to play well in the conditions that you know you're going to get on your home tracks and where you're going to play. But we've changed now. We're at Jaipur for the next couple of games, so the surface here is different. And now we go back to our home track, which we're covered pretty well within our squad. But sit down as the staff, see what we need. It gets signed off by the board, and then head of cricket gets in contact with their managers and finds out where they are in the world, what their bowling loads, where they've been playing, are they right to go, and that's how the process works.
So I've tipped Punjab to be in the final now. Since
it's theirs to lose.
resumption.
Absolutely theirs to lose.
Who are you playing in the final and who's going to win?
Who are we
Apart from
playing in the final? I'm really interested in this game tonight, Heels, with Delhi and Mumbai. Mumbai started the tournament really slow, which they traditionally do, but the cricket they've been playing over the last 6 games has been as good as anyone in the tournament. And they've got a really well-balanced team. I think for the conditions we're about to face at the back end of the tournament, GT, what they've done with that top order has been nothing short of extraordinary. The way they've played in the power play, so you've got to find a way to get through that. But I think at the moment, that the two teams that are playing well have beat GT and Bangalore. Just depends how much change in the surfaces will make a difference to their squad. So, yeah, I think we'll play one of those two in the final.
Oh, see, I'd love to see a Punjab RCB final. I think that would be electric. Mumbai would be good. They're playing some good cricket, like Had said, but I think Punjab RCB final in Ahmedabad.
We shall wait and see. What about this kid again, Hads, at Rajasthan, Suravanshi? So he's at it again, 57 off 33. Ravichandran Ashwin was the one to get rid of him, who was very much an established Test cricketer and very well known around the world before Suravanshi was even born. So he comes out and does it again. This is no fleeting moment, it feels like. This kid has got something that could be going for a very long time.
Oh, he's extremely talented. We seen firsthand the other night the talent he does have. He took Arshdeep and Marco Jansen on with that new ball. But it'll be interesting to see what his development looks like over the next 12 months and even longer. What sort of cricket he'll play, what impact he'll have. Because, yes, he's talented. He's extremely talented with the bat, but there's a lot that goes into being a consistent performer at this level. Just watching him move around in the field, the way he gets involved in the game. I think he's got a lot to work on there. He's obviously extremely young, but I'm interested in how they develop him over the next couple of years. It's not just about his batting, it's about having an impact on the game everywhere. Teams will start to work him out a bit. They'll learn how to bowl to him after seeing some footage of him, and then to see what they do, Indian cricket do with him, with his development. Because if you look at guys like Kohli and guys like that, they've set a real high standard in their fitness, the way they feel, the way they get themselves involved in the game, and that'll be his next part of his development. But with bat in hand, he's an extraordinary talent.
He can play under 19 cricket for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, there's people out there that play the game that can't hit the ball off the square at 35, and he's 14 hitting him 3 rows back, 30 rows back, 3 tiers up at a stadium in Delhi. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. And I look forward, I agree with Hads, I look forward to watching him grow, but I hope they look after him and sort of nurture him through that process, because we've seen a lot of those players come and go over the years. But yeah, he's one to hold on to.
Hey, Hads, just before we let you go and make sure that this vacuum cleaner doesn't lose his job for not doing his job where you are.
He's actually still staring at me. He hasn't not moved.
Give a thumbs up for us. We're nearly done here, but I do want to bring up one thing, Hads. I had to make mention of this. So in Sundries, which we'll do after the break with Heels, there's one thing about the New South Wales squad has been announced for the men's this year, and it goes through. We've actually got the list. I've got the list right in front of me here, and it goes through from Sean Abbott all the way down. The Davies boys, Jack Edwards is there, of course. Yep. The Aussie boys, Sam Constas, Nathan Lyon, and it lists their club as well. And it's great to see so many Manly players involved, including the great club legend that is Mitchell Starc down there at Manly Oval. Can we get Mitch onto Willow Talk Cricket Club instead of Manly?
Yeah,
or is he invested there?
No, I thought Mitch had signed on for the Terry Hills Wolves, so I'm surprised it says Manly Warringah. I thought we signed on.
You were Northern Districts, weren't you, Hats?
Northern Districts, yeah, at the end.
Yeah, Nathan Lyon.
Got a couple of boys there.
Sorry?
Lockie Shaw.
No, young Anderson's there. Green, Northern Districts.
1, 2. I can't read properly.
Lockie
3.
Shaw.
Yeah, they're popping up all over the place.
Yeah.
Good club, Hads. Obviously a good club. Proud of their cricketers there.
Great development club.
Awesome. Mate, thank you for joining us on this particular episode. We jest. We say that it's yours to lose, but we actually do, I do anyway. I don't know about Heels, but I actually genuinely hope that Punjab get to the final and maybe create a bit of history there for you.
I tell you what, one thing, after the game the other night, we had to watch Delhi play and wait for the result with GT day one we knew we were in. And it was an emotional room for a lot of people there, because a lot of our staff and backroom staff have been here over 10 years and they haven't seen the finals. So it was a really emotional time. Yeah, we're playing some decent cricket at the moment. We've got to nearly to where we want to be at this stage of the tournament, but it all starts again once the final starts, and we just need to give ourselves I think the best chance in finishing 1 and 2. So, yeah, but it was a time to celebrate and enjoy a little bit of that success for the guys, not just the coaching staff, but everyone involved in the franchise.
Great stuff, Hads. And you know what I love about the most of Hads' contribution today, and this is not really one for our listeners, this is maybe one for those who are watching on YouTube, that he can't be bothered doing his washing over there in the hotel, so what he's done, he's gone out and bought a new shirt, because I can see the crease out straight out of the packet, the T-shirt.
No, I actually, on the flip side of that, was thinking, no, the laundry have done that, which means there's good laundry. They've ironed it and they've folded it around the paper and the cardboard, so they're nailing it in Jaipur.
Mate, very, very good laundry. It's if you just give laundry one of your travel shirts or a training shirt, it's amazing how good your laundry comes back.
You're a smart, experienced traveller, Bradley Haddin, and we thank you for your time on Willow Talk, mate. We'll catch up soon.
Good luck.
Can't wait to get home. Bye, thank you.
Welcome back to Willow Talk. Time for Sundries, where we've moved house, actually, after saying goodbye to Hads. He went, so we just moved studios because we felt like it. That's why it looks a bit different if you're watching on YouTube.
No, Adam, we got punted. I think we need to talk about this.
We
got moved out of our studio.
Yeah. By the briefing, I think it was.
By someone evidently bigger than us, more powerful than us, and
That's
probably speaking more sense than us, so that's fine.
And listened to by more people than us. So that's exactly where we know our place here at Willow Talk. We'll just go anywhere and talk about cricket wherever we are. Speaking of cricket, you've got a pre-season camp coming up, I understand. Before we get into Sundries as a whole, where are you off to and what are you doing?
We're actually going to Darwin. So normally you go pre-season camp up in Brisbane, you get the nets and do your testing and all your admin stuff. But this year we're going to Darwin. We've actually got one of our values as like a group is a commitment to, culture and connecting to our environment and our people around us and our history and whatnot. So doing a bit of a cultural experience up there. I think we're spending a few days in Kakadu, which I've never done. So I'm really excited by that. Yeah. Hopefully not too much exercising, but more just getting
camp.
together.
What do you expect to be doing?
Well,
sitting around the fire.
We've been burnt a few times on pre-season camps and been pushed to our limits, and it's broken a few people, which we laugh about over the years. But funnily enough, that year we ended up walking on sand for a whole day, which didn't turn out well for a lot of people. But I had a calf problem, so I was driving the van. Carrying everyone's kits, but what I ended up doing was picking up people along the way because people were like, not making it. So I was best on ground, just picking everyone up and dropping them to where we need to go. But yeah, this one's a bit more of a cultural experience, which should be good fun.
So you don't have to come up with a calf nickel this time?
I think there's a 2K time trial around the corner, so I'm sure that'll rear its head. I get anxious calves. They're not actually torn, but they get anxious about it. So we'll see how that pans out.
Oh, well, take the Aerogard. That's all I can say when you go up there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Still 30 degrees up there.
Yeah, I know it's going to be humid.
The tropics.
But, all right, well, I'll pack that.
Take the Aerogard. Absolutely. So as a whole, what do you get out of that in terms of a camp that, bleeds into the actual cricket taking over? Because, when I think of Australian cricket team going on a camp, all I can think of is John Buchanan pre-Ashes Warnie telling him to get stuff. I'm taking my baked beans.
Yep.
Now, this one is a little more organised. It's defined as cultural, but essentially throwing it forward to when you actually start playing international cricket.
Yeah, it's a little less like World War II oriented where we just starve people and make them work really hard. But it's a bit more, it's so rare in the modern game to get a whole preseason in, but some gaps in the schedule to be able to look at things and what's important coming up. And obviously we've got a ODI World Cup in India in September, October. That's kind of our next big thing as a group. So to have the ability to sit down as a group now, work out what's important for that and know that we've got a couple of months to work on that leading in is actually a really useful time frame. So I think that'll be the priority. Getting back together as a group as well. We haven't done that since the Ashes. So, the girls were in New Zealand, but I wasn't there, so I had FOMO. So getting back together as a group will be good fun.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of preparations into Sundries as a whole, Steve Smith has been preparing for the World Test Championship final in New York. Don't know where you can find a net in New York, but Steve will just do it in the hallway of his apartment or whatever. He's a big New York Knicks fan. They're still going in the NBA. They're through to the conference finals in the East, so he'd be loving that. He's been having some beers at the pub that Pat Cummins is a minority owner in as well. So perfect prep, sounds like it.
You know what? I actually got asked yesterday in an event about how much virtual reality plays a part in cricket, and a couple of us cricketers on the panel are like 0, like we don't use it at all. Maybe that's the way he's training. Maybe he's figured out a way to train for cricket differently. And whether that is wearing a pair of goggles with your cricket bat in your living room, maybe that's the way forward.
Perhaps. I have often thought that if we ever ended up going out into the field and you guys say, "Oh, come for a net," and then you'll stitch me up for sure with a bowling machine, I'll just go, "No, we'll do the virtual reality stuff, thanks." So I can walk away with any bruises. That does look like fun, that.
Well, it's interesting. Like, it's a question that I'd never been asked before. Like, with AI coming into the world and whatnot, how's it going to change sport? And I was like, well, actually, there's more and more opportunity for that sort of stuff to creep into different sports. And cricket's probably, we'll probably look at that at some point. Middlesex
have announced that they're keen to sign Virat Kohli and will pay whatever. I'm sure they'll find a benefactor. They might find a Cam Green type benefactor that he had, the mystery one that got him over the. Maybe they'll be able to afford that. But in a wider sense, we haven't had too many retired Indian players because when they're contracted to the BCCI, they're not allowed to play T20 cricket anywhere else. But would you have a throw at the stumps if you're invested or involved in a BBL franchise at Rohit Sharma or Virat Kohli?
Well, yes, but technically they're still contracted to the BCCI.
Because they're playing white ball cricket.
Yeah. So I guess you can't at the moment. They're still owned in that regard. But, why wouldn't you? If there's a a clause in there or a little loophole that you could exploit, why wouldn't you knock on the door and see if they're keen to come?
It's going to happen with IPL franchise owners investing in the BBL. So maybe we can make this part of the deal.
Well, I think the conversation is ever growing about the privatisation of the WBBL and the BBL and what that's going to look like moving forward. And I think if there are some Indian owners that start coming into the frame, then I think those sort of rule changes will have to take place. But mind you, there's a lot of Indian superstars that aren't contracted by the BCCI that could come out and play in the competition if it goes down that path. So it's an interesting one to keep an eye out on.
Watch this space.
Yeah.
Now, reports out of England, there had to be some sort of response, and England's managing director Rob Key has now reportedly instructed players to refrain from referring to golf on social media or when talking to reporters. The Test captain, Ben Stokes, has expressed frustration at claims that golf means more to his players, their cricketing work ethic, he says is incredible, the work ethic, but the perception is out there that they talk about it and think about it too much. I reckon if Rob Key was in charge of Willow Talk, he'd be in a bit of strife.
Yeah.
He'd have some unrest.
I guess they've probably had to do this reluctantly, only because of just the negativity around it over the last little period. And obviously a lot of the commentary over there from a lot of ex-players who actually like to golf themselves and see its value, taking pot shots at that team. So they probably reluctantly had to do it and say, look, can we just keep this on the down low for a little bit? Let's focus on our cricket for a bit. This is a huge series for them coming up over there in their summer, leading into an Ashes series. It's huge for Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes to get some results. So probably time they looked at that and thought maybe we focus a little bit more on that. But, I mean, it's still going to be happening in and around the team anyway. So it's just the fact they're not talking about it. So now it's a hidden thing.
Can't hide your truth.
No.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not as if they've got their pastime is bullfighting or flying helicopters or something in high winds.
Yeah.
I
mean, at the end of the day, they're a professional sporting team with high standards, and their priorities are to win games of cricket and evidently to do it entertainingly. So they're not there to lose. I don't think that's genuinely how they think about their cricket. So if golf is getting in the way of that, I assume that they would stop that. So if they think golf is a problem, then that someone will step in and remove it. But all they've done is really step in and say that we're not going to talk about it. The golf's still happening in the background.
Yeah.
It's just that we're not talking about it. We're going to keep our sights on the cricket in the media.
Well, Brendan McCullum has come out as well, not so much directly connected to this report, but saying we've got to be a bit smarter with some of our comments, and urged his players to show some humility and not feel out of touch with the general population in their public remarks. I mean, I don't know why you need to come out and say that. Anyway.
I think it's good that they acknowledge that. No, I genuinely think it's a good thing they've acknowledged that, because a lot of the negativity, like I said before, that's come out of the Women's Ashes series here, and also the way that the men sort of finished their cycle was, the word arrogance was used a lot, and this idea that winning's not important was also used a lot in the media. So I think
moral victories. We will never let go of that, ever.
But that takes leadership, right? Your coach to sit there and go, we need to be smarter, we need to be a bit better in these areas, I think is the first step to them hopefully getting some good results.
Well, Jimmy Anderson has still got it. I don't know if you saw this. He's playing county for Lancashire. We knew that he was going to front up 3 for 53 and 2 for 25 in their most recent fixture. But I don't know if you saw one of the wickets. I caught a replay of one of them. It was classic Anderson, just in and then a little bit away, and then taking the stumps out, and it was perfection from Jimmy.
I mean, does he just not want to go home?
Don't you have a life?
I think he does, but he just loves cricket that much. And look, I love cricket, but you will not catch me running around a field at 41. Unless it's for the Terry Hills.
Unless there's a caveat. Or Napa Valley.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, did you see their post?
I did see the Napa Valley trip to Tequila.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit jealous that I didn't get to join, but it's my own fault for not organising that. So next year.
I nearly have fainted when they had one of those pictures of all those agave plants about to be made into that sweet nectar. Well, not so sweet nectar, but it's not for everyone, but it's for me. Anyway.
Next year, Adam, next year.
Next year. There's always next year. Exactly. Johnny Bairstow's joining. We talked earlier with Hads about the movement and Kyle Jamieson going to Punjab. But Johnny Bairstow is in for Will Jacks at Mumbai, so they've picked him up. So Johnny playing a bit of IPL cricket. Shame it didn't happen the other day. We could have asked Alex Carey about it. England, of course, playing Zimbabwe in a one-off 4-day test just around the corner. First-class cricket is returning to Darwin for the first time in 19 years. We've got Australia A and Sri Lanka A tour heading up there. Nice. And, later in the year, of course, when it's still cool in the southern states, the Aussie men will be playing a series up there as well. So anything to add to all of that, or you're going home to pack your bags for Darwin?
Well, I'm just going to get some Aerogard on the way home from Woolies and then go home and get that. But I'm interested by the 4-day test stuff. Is that so? Is it a legitimate ICC event?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter. It's England because their test matches don't go 3 days.
Well, I know, but we flip and change a bit between 4 days, 5 days in the women's game.
Yeah,
and they're a sanctioned event. So I wonder if that's a.
Is that going to be struck from the records because it's not a 5-day test?
Interesting. But I like that they could play around with that. There's been a lot of talk about men's playing the 4-day tests. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. But yeah, you're right. A lot of them don't tend to go a lot past 4 days anyway.
Can you just keep talking for 30 seconds while I research this? Because my research hasn't been my strong point this week after what happened with Alex and his overall dismissals earlier in the week. So, no, just looking it up.
I'll tell you what I will say is that I'm enjoying seeing cricket returning right up north of Australia because such an untapped market up there. There's a lot of Australians living up in those areas, even like the northern parts of Queensland. There's not a lot of cricket taken up there. We go as high as Mackay at times. So take cricket, Darwin, northern end of Queensland, I think is a really good thing, and hopefully will grow the game and show young kids that there's a pathway for them. You don't have to be in the big city. You can do it from there.
Haven't been able to find out if it's an official test. Thanks for that, 30 seconds. But it was a beautiful message that you conveyed in that. You utilised those 30 seconds very well there, Heels.
I did. I can fill a gap.
Well, I was trying to find out what the hell's going on with this 4-day test. All I know is it's actually starting Thursday night, Australian time. Yeah. And Sam Cook is going to make his England debut. So they found another bowler, the Essex seamer. Established player. He's a bit older. He's not a young gun, so to speak. But, whether or not it's an official test, still don't know. We'll just watch it and find out.
You know what also starts this week? The England women are back in action against the West Indies on Thursday, Friday morning our time.
That will be a close watch.
Charlotte Edwards first go in charge.
Expecting a bounce back? An immediate bounce, or is it going to take a bit of time?
Well, interesting. Sophie Eccleston was left out of the squad. Obviously, she was injured at some point, had some knee troubles, and reading the comments, it was that she hadn't quite played enough cricket for Lancashire. She's still working her way back up to be ready for international cricket, but it is a bit of a change. Obviously, Natsa Brunt taking over the reins. How will Heather Knight go, not skippering? I think it'll do wonders for her cricket, but it's sort of like a new look, fresh approach for England, so I'm intrigued. They're playing the West Indies, obviously, who haven't been in great form, missing out on the ODI World Cup for the first time for a while, but it's still an opportunity for them to come out and show everyone where they're at. Close
look on the English summer. It's always fun watching a bit of cricket in this time zone with English summer action happening, so we'll be across that. Have fun in Darwin. We'll see you when you get back.
I will.
That was Willow Talk. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.